What the fuck is up, Juggalos and Juggaless? This is Crazy McCormick here on Juggalo A, up in this motherfucking bitch. So, we're still continuing with the season of the pumpkin, Samhain, whatever the fuck you want to call it, Halloween, Hallowicked. That's the theme for the month. And this week's topic is actually going to be about haunted houses. Haunted houses, motherfuckers. What's your best fucking story behind being in a haunted house? Could be a scary one, could be a funny one, could be something that was scary at the beginning and then turned out to be something funny. But as for me, I've both been a patron and worked at haunted houses. So I've got two stories for y'all. The first one is actually going to be pertaining to me as a patron. And the best story that I could come up with was back in the 80s. Once again, we're going back in time. And what had happened, this was about when I was 2 years old. And what had happened was around the time frame, my parents and I and my brother and my sister were living in Lapeer, Michigan. And we had a roommate with us by the name of Curtis. And Curtis ended up buying this gorilla mask. Now, keep in mind that I don't remember this story for the life of me. I just basically know it because of what my parents have told me. So what had happened was Curtis got behind me while I was in the yard, just minding my own business, playing with the grass, playing in the dirt. And what ends up happening is he puts the gorilla mask on and he taps me on the shoulder. As soon as I turn around, he does the big "Arrgh" scare. I scream, turn white, and pass the fuck out. I don't know how long it was before I came to. But when I did, I was, with my mom. My mom was holding me. And one of the first things I see is, once again, that gorilla mask. He's just standing there with the gorilla mask on. He's not really doing anything, and it scared the shit out of me. I guess considerably, I would think that Harambe was about to grab me by the leg and beat me into the fucking wall. But that didn't happen because it was Curtis. And Curtis ended up lifting off the mask, and he said, "It's okay, Kevin, it's me." So it kind of erased the illusion of something scary and shit like that. And that's been something that's stuck with me over the last 30 years. So fast forward to later that night, or maybe a day or two later, and what ends up happening is we are going to a haunted house. So in this haunted house, there's a bunch of scary shit and stuff like that, and I'm not scared, but my mom's trying to pretend that I am in order to, she's pretending that she is in order to get me to be scared, but it's not working. Nothing in that haunted house ended up scaring me. It was basically that Curtis lifting the mask showed me the realization that all of it is fake. And so, getting towards the end of the trail, there ends up being a guy in a full-blown gorilla suit. And, he tried to do like the little pop scare and the rah crap. And, me, according to what my mom says, is I just point at him and go, "Hey, that's Unky Curtis." And I try to take the mask off the actor. I try to take the fucking gorilla mask off the actor to prove to my mom and to everybody that it was Unky Curtis. My mom, on the other hand, ended up knowing that it wasn't. It was just an actor. But nevertheless, she wasn't really trying to play that it was or anything like that. Instead, she tried to get me the fuck away from the actor so that way I didn't try to take his mask off. And as we're walking away, I tell my mom not to let Uncle Curtis be left behind, in so many words for a 2-year-old. So there's my story as a patron. I thought it was hilarious as fuck, but nevertheless, here's my story when it concerns being an actor at the haunt. And this was my first year. Apparently, at the haunted house that I worked at, they have, if they have like an issue with an actor, like if they don't know where to put him, or if he's too good to be in the main room or something like that, they just throw him in the back. Throw him in the outside area that we called Ghost Town. or the Dark Maze. It's called something completely different now, but since I'm not working there this year, I don't even know for the life of me what the fuck it's called. Maybe I'll find out next year. Nevertheless, this is my rookie year being a haunted house actor, and this was about 2 years ago. And what had happened was I was thrown outside. I don't know if they just couldn't find a place for me or if I was too good of an actor to be in the main hall. Like I would say by a good actor, like they don't need to be in there guiding or directing me or even watching me. They just know that I'm going to scare the shit out of people and do a good fucking job doing it. So, I got to go out there. Now, in the Dark Maze, there would be this long stretch of area that I got control over. It was the second pocket, as they called it, and it was right before this main room called the Chain Link. And the Chain Link was, yet again, another piece of maze that was cut off by chain link fence. And since it's so dark, you can't really tell the chain link fence is there until you're, like, right next to it. So some actors or even some patrons would actually bump into the chain link fence. Me, on the other hand, I loved doing it because of the fact that, for one, I was wearing enough padding with the clothes that it wouldn't hurt me if I did it, and two, it really scared the shit out of patrons because when you look past the chain link fence, you no longer see the chain link fence. You have to know it's there in order to see it. So, like, what it would be is it would be like this, like after you get out and you go to the outer rim of the chain link area, it's supposed to follow along and go into the next room, which is just a fucking corridor with nothing but tubes. And there would be somebody else that would be sitting in there waiting for the next patron to go to scare them. So there's like a chain link fence in between a long runway, and then there's a chain link fence, and then there's the corridor that leads to the tubes. And so what I would do is I would sprint full head of steam into, towards these people as they're walking by, and then I would slam myself into the chain link fence while doing a scaring growl. Well, there was this one time that I was in this corridor that, I basically every once in a while I would exit my area and tag team patrons with whoever was in chain link. And this specific night, this was probably my favorite story. Some small group of like 5 kids came in, and I'm sure that they were either on mushrooms, acid, or ecstasy, because we actually got one guy to fall into the fucking fetal position. This is what happened. These 5 people came in to the chain link room because I chased them in there. And so comes the next guy. And I just said, fuck it, and I continued going in. And 4 out of the 5 people were able to get through the chain link area correctly. And, of course, I do my running scare into the fucking chain link fence. And one guy ended up finding a dead end in the direct center of the chain link area. So I turn around, he's right there. He looks square at me, and I kind of fucking check him. And he turns around to try to exit the dead end, and there's the partner in crime right in front of him. And so he screams, turns around, he sees me again, and I'm on the other end of the dead end of the chain link fence. I'm grabbing the chain link fence, and I'm moving the chain link fence really hard, really loud, and really fast while screaming. I'm just like, "Argh!" or something to that effect. It was a lot more life into it at the time. But he turns around again and he sees the other guy. He doesn't even give him enough time to do his scare, and he just fucking spins and drops into the fetal position. So I start kicking the bottom of the fucking chain link fence around him, and he's like screaming for help. His 4 friends are in the corridor before the tubes, and they're all screaming at him, and they're just like, you gotta get the fuck out of there. He's just like, I can't, I'm stuck. He's just like, you just gotta go past the one guy. So he tries to get up, and he fucking rams into the fucking dead end of the chain link fence. He turns around and he shoulder checks the other guy and fucking somehow gets in there, and I just follow him alongside the opposite side of the chain link fence, and I'm following him as he's running, and I'm just growling at him and snarling and screaming and everything, and the dude cannot keep his focus away from me as he's running. He somehow doesn't end up hitting the retaining wall or anything like that. He and his friends go into the next one, and they're all focused on me, and they run into the tubes, and you hear the guy in the tubes scare him, and I never heard a dude scream like a bitch ever before like that in my life. But those are my two stories involving haunted houses. Personally, I love being in haunted houses. Every year, now that I have, now that I have my kids, every year on Halloween after we're done trick-or-treating, we go to that exact same haunted house, and we just have a ball. This year, I should be in much of a surprise for what the haunt actually has in store for me and my family, because honestly, I know nothing about what they have done this year and what additions and changes they will have made. So I'm actually looking forward to that. But tune in tomorrow. You'll be able to see Mr. Mackenhose, and he'll tell you about his Halloween experiences with haunted houses and all that other shit. And that's it for me. So time for the shameless plug. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe to this video, any other videos on Juggalo A, and check out everybody else on Juggalo A as well as their own individual channels. I'm out this bitch. Oh, and like and subscribe to them motherfuckers too. So I'm out this bitch. Peace out, y'all. Have a motherfucking good day.